Hi Aquarius, welcome to your second week of October general/love reading. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to put these cards back in just because there are too many. I don't feel like putting those in the actual reading, but it is important to note that I saw the High Priestess in there. So right now is probably a very intuitive time for you guys. Let me turn down the light a little bit, just so the cards don't glare. The deck that I'm using right now is the Crystal Visions Tarot. I got this deck recently, and it's super nice. I've been having a really easy time getting messages and picking up what the cards are trying to say. And the cool thing about this deck in particular is that it has an extra card that's called the Unknown. And if it comes out in the reading, I'll definitely point it out to you guys. But it's super cool. It's a card about embracing the unknown, and I think that's really cool. Because so much of the time, we get into this energy where we need to know everything, but I digress. So, your overall energy is the Queen of Cups, which is a really good sign. I feel like a lot of times, people that have a lot more air in their chart have the tendency to be sort of cold and detached, but this Queen of Cups means that you're sort of in a lot more warm and caring energy, which is good. That's good, especially if you're concerned with love right now. Being in this Queen of Cups energy is always a good thing because it facilitates love coming into your life. I see a lot of cup cards here. I see 9 of Cups, 3 of Cups, 6 of Cups, which are all positive cards, by the way. And I also see the Chariot, which represents the sign of Cancer. So if you're dealing with a Cancer, it's I just saw 11:11 on the clock. So if you're dealing with a Cancer and Aries with the Emperor card, I definitely get the vibe that you're in intuitive mode right now. Definitely you might be dealing with a soulmate. Proceed with caution though. But I don't think you need to be overly stressed out about the situation, because you have the World card, which tells me that you're sort of exiting some stage in your life. And normally when I see the World card, I usually say, oh, you're sort of going from a bad situation, you're learning your lessons and going into a better one. But I don't really see that here. I just see positivity all around. I just see positivity all around. The 3 of Cups is a reunion. So it could be that you're talking to some friends or you're talking to this person. I don't get that it's an ex. Maybe it's something to where you guys wanted it to sort of kind of take off, but then they had to leave the country or something. So the sort of relationship, situationship, whatever that was kind of put on hold for a little bit. And now I feel like you're coming back to that, if you were, this is a specific scenario for not a whole lot of people, but if somebody left the country and you wanted to sort of begin a relationship with them, and now they're coming back, I feel like now is a good time to do that. And for others of you, I feel like they could have just moved away with the Chariot card. The Chariot card is also more confirmation. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. More confirmation that it could be somebody that moved away or left. And with the 6 of Cups, I sort of feel like you're being hoisted back into the time before they left now. Sort of reuniting with a high school sweetheart or something like that. And I think it's bringing back a lot of memories, but I don't think they're bad memories. I think they're good memories, especially with this 9 of Cups. Because the 9 of Cups talks about fantasies. Sorry, not fantasies, but wish fulfillment. So what I was trying to say with that is like, be aware of what your wishes are, of what your fantasies are, and when you come to a place where you're like, this is my wish, um, I'm getting sort of like the vibe with Aladdin, like, he couldn't make the princess fall in love with him, but he could wish himself to be a prince and court the princess. That's sort of what I'm getting here right now, is that you need to be pretty aware of what it is that your wish is. It's kind of a monkey's paw situation where you need to be like wary of how you word your wish. It might be that this person is like prone to misunderstanding. It might be that like your communication styles are a little bit different, but I don't get it in a bad way. I just get it in like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. And then it's like, no, I didn't mean that. I meant it like this. And they're like, oh, okay. But it's definitely not big miscommunications, especially with the Six of Wands. Like, to get the Six of Wands and the Nine of Cups together is big, yes. And I feel like if you have somebody in your sights, which could be that Cancer or could be that Aries, with the Emperor, you're definitely at a point where I say go for it. The Hanged Man, I believe, also represents Scorpio. So, I mean, that might be a thing for some of you. But I think more than that, the Hanged Man is telling you to look at things from a slightly different perspective. I feel like you might be going about things in a weird way. Not necessarily like a weird way, but like a way that might not be optimal for your situation. But like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's just like you need to make a minor adjustment, minor tweak to your approach so that you're at a place where this love can more easily flourish. With the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles talks about charity. It talks about giving and receiving almost. But like with this particular card, I see that the pentacles are growing from the plants almost, and it makes me sort of think of the expression like money growing on trees. So I feel like you're in a very, maybe that could have been it. Maybe like you could have had some financial worries in the past, and now you're like, oh, okay, now that like my financial problems are solved, you're sort of in this new headspace where you're like so much more confident, so much more like stable, I should say. You're definitely like coming into this Emperor. I feel like that could have been it. Maybe you you'd already had like the Swords energy and like the Cups energy, and now you got like the last bit of the Wands energy and the Pentacles energy. Because you have this Queen of Cups, and I feel like you've been in this mode for a while. It's definitely embodying who you are right now. And with this Page of Swords, I'm getting the impression that you're sort of at a point now where you're ready to begin to formulate your plan. So to me, the Page of Swords is a message, and it's the beginning parts of a message. So I feel like you already know in your heart that you're going to talk to this person, but you're sort of trying to, I feel like now is the point of planning and like, how do I go about this? And with this Hanged Man, I'm thinking to this quote that I heard from a writer. Basically, what he would do to keep his his stories from getting repetitive is he would write out what he would think, where he was thinking the story would go. But he wouldn't go the first place it went. He'd go like the 6th or 7th place that he wrote down. So I feel like that's kind of the energy that you're at. Try something different. Maybe like write down like a bunch of things that you could do. And maybe like it doesn't necessarily have to be how you approach the situation. It could just be like date ideas or stuff like that. Where you're like, hey, let's go to the amusement park and ride roller coasters. And then they're like, oh man, I don't like roller coasters. They make me sick. And then you're like, no problem. Let's go to the beach and look at the ocean. And they're like, perfect. So I definitely get the impression that you're fully prepared for, or at least capable of being fully prepared for what's ahead. And I just think that right now you're at a point where you're sort of sitting down and thinking about it. And like I said earlier, with the Six of Wands meaning victory and the Nine of Cups meaning wish fulfillment, if this is this is what you're after, then you're definitely gonna come out winning in the end. So that was your reading for the second week of October. All in all, it was a great reading, and I hope to see you guys next week for your next weekly reading.